An all-star cast of former Quebec Liberals have put their name to an opinion piece in the Montreal Gazette with the clear message for Anglos. Now's not the time for a protest party. One of the names signing that letter is Geoffrey Kelley, chair of APPELE-Québec, a longtime Liberal MNA. Jeff, welcome to the show.
Good morning, Elias.
So I love our fun chats on the Second Breakfast on the Andrew Carter Morning Show. This time, a little bit more serious in certain respects.
We're into meaty matters for sure.
It's a meaty matter. So I'm going to read you a quote from the letter. Of course, I want to point out that it was written by Lawrence S. Bergman and Clifford Lincoln. So two big names when it comes to Quebec Liberals here. And here's one part of this letter. It looks back to the Equality Party, the last quote-unquote protest party for Anglos. The Equality Party was not a political success. It was born out of a protest movement. It balkanized the votes of English-speaking electorate and completely isolated the 4 seats in the Quebec legislature with the greatest concentration of Anglophone voters, cutting them off from any broader political representation. So, Jeff, you signed on to this letter. I would imagine you're in complete agreement with it. Tell me why you feel that a protest party is a bad idea.
Well, I think first and foremost, part of it's based on how Quebec City works. If we want to change the things in Bill 96 that we don't like, if we want to get the unfortunate decision about Dawson College reversed, it's going to be part of a major party. So it's going to be reaching out and making sure that you are part of a group that will form a government one day, which will correct the errors of the past. And if you go back to the equality experience, at the same time that those 4 MNAs were sitting in Quebec City with very limited speaking time, very limited ability to participate in committees, a number of people picked up the mantle from Clifford Lincoln and fought the battle to make sure that the notwithstanding clause, which was in Bill 178 at the time, was not renewed. I went to work for Claude Ryan. Tom Mulcair was involved. Russ Williams was already an MNA. And we worked very hard to make sure that the error of Bill 178 in 1988 was not repeated and that the notwithstanding clause was not renewed. So for those kinds of battles, you need to be part of a larger group. And I went into politics and still remain that the goal of politics should be building bridges between the various elements that compose Quebec society, and it's not in isolation that you're going to be able to do that.
So, Jeff, part of the thing that I took away from this article, and maybe I'm off base, but it sort of felt like to me, like I mentioned, all-star cast of former Liberals saying, please, please, please don't abandon the Liberal Party, Ango, please. And
but we don't mention the Liberal Party.
I know you don't. I'm just saying what the vibe was.
We were very careful not to.
Yeah.
But first and foremost, I think it's very important for the English-speaking community to remain engaged in Quebec politics. You're quite right in pointing out my political past. I don't hide it, but I think the goal is to be part of a larger group to make the changes because I understand the anger. I was at Dawson for the march a couple of weeks ago. Bill 96 is unacceptable on so many levels. The indiscriminate use of the notwithstanding clause is unacceptable. The cancellation of the magnificent project at Dawson is unacceptable. Mm-hmm. But to get those things changed, you have to be part of a larger group. And sending a handful of MNAs to Quebec City with limited talking time, with limited ability to participate in committees, is just not the way to go.
So, Jeff, last question here. And so to be part of the larger group, I guess then it leads us to, the larger group that we should be a part of is the Liberal Party of Quebec. And Anglophones feel abandoned, right? Like it was a year where the Quebec Liberal Party was like, we're voting for Bill 96. We'll try and get amendments, but we're voting for Bill 96. And then, in fact, they made it worse at the CGIP level in many Anglophones' estimation. And they feel like, well, geez, if I need to go part of a bigger group, I'm going to go to the Liberal Party. They feel sort of betrayed or abandoned, right? So,
as we did in 1988, and I still remain that the people who went to get involved in the Liberal Party, Lawrence, Russell Copeman, myself, Russ Williams, were all elected. Russ re-elected, but the others re-elected in 1994 to make changes, but as part of a larger group. And I still think that's the way to go. And as I say, we're careful. If you think there's another party that has a chance of winning seats that's part of a larger group, go ahead. We do not mention the Liberal Party. We mention that there are 2 Federalist parties because the English-speaking community remains overwhelmingly Federalist. Yeah. So it's not a party that's going to call into question our place in Canada or go out and recruit Bernard Drinville or anything else like that. This is a party that still believes that Quebec's place is within Canada. And so I think that echoes the overriding concern of the English-speaking community is we're all proud Quebecers and we're all proud Canadians.
Jeff, thanks so much for jumping on with us this morning. I really do appreciate it.
No problem at all, Elias.
Jeff Kelley, one of the signers of this opinion piece in the Montreal Gazette this morning. Now, let's go to Balarama Holness. He is the leader of Mouvement Québec. And that's one of the parties that's being called a protest party, like it or not. And I'd love to hear what Balarama has to say about this. He is now on the line. Balarama, you've read the piece in the Montreal Gazette, and it makes the case, listen, go with the major party, get a voice within a major party. The protest parties may not be the best choice here. What do you say?
Yeah. Well, first of all, thank you so much for having me. And we don't define ourselves, firstly, as a protest party. Many people know that in 2017, I ran for mayor of Montreal North. We also created a Mouvement Montreal, whereby we address issues from housing, employment, the economy. So this is much more than waking up one morning and disenchanted about Bill 96. So people can be assured that when they're voting for my party, that they're voting for much more than an anti-Bill 96 protest and an anti-Bill 21 protest. I think that's very, very important to note that we have a lot more substance in that. And also, when I read the article and I look at the names, and on the phone, Mr. Kelley is saying, very careful not to mention the Liberal Party, his son is with the Liberal Party, and he simply passed down his seat to his son. So
he got voted. It was a Democratic election, and he got voted. There was no passing. Just want to point that out.
Yeah, sure. Democratic election in Saint Jacques, which is a Liberal stronghold, and your son happens to be in the same seat that you had. The point is that there is obviously bias with the article. The Liberal Party is very, very afraid that they're going to lose seats. They're going to be contested and hotly contested in many of these boroughs. And this is simply the Liberal establishment attempting to save what they can on the island of Montreal, period. If you look at the names, it's very, very clear. This is a biased political article that seems to attempt to save the Liberal Party on the island of Montreal, and it's as simple as that.
Balarama, the Liberal Party Quebec, Dominique Anglade announced the candidate in NDG, Desiree McGraw. Yeah. Do you know who you're going to run in such an important riding for a party like yours? Do you know who's going to run in NDG?
Well, that's not determined yet. We're going to have some very big news for you very, very soon. This week, the party will be authorized, and I think a lot of Montrealers are going to be pleasantly surprised with what we're bringing to the table. And whether it's candidates, and we're going to have, as you know, in the last election, I did take risk to win. Now the objective is not only to win, but to win in a larger way, well beyond the Equality Party with 4 seats, and we're committed to that.
Balarama, I want to thank you for jumping on this morning. We're going to get our listeners to weigh in on this, if they feel a party like yours is the right vessel for them, or if they should stick around with one of the older parties. So stay tuned for that. Balarama, thanks so much for jumping on the line, and when you've got those announcements, come on back, okay?
Thank you. Cheers.
That is Balarama Holness, leader of Mouvement Québec, says this week will be the week.